Hey everybody, how you doing? Dan Parent here at home. I'm going to be doing a drawing of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I've been getting a lot of requests for Sabrina with the online commissions and portraits I've been doing. So here we go. We are going to get started on Sabrina, as we usually do. We do a little oval, which represents the shape of the face, and map out where we're going to put the eyes and the mouth. So about a little less than halfway down, that's the eye line. Go down a little further, a third up from the bottom, kind of like where the mouth is going to go. Center line is where the bridge of the nose will be. So let's see. So now in drawing Sabrina, she's a little different than the other Archie characters, the other Archie girls, because Betty and Veronica have the big round eyes, or half moons. Sabrina has more of a exotic eye, so it's not quite as full as Betty and Veronica's. She also has a little bit more of an arch to her brow, because Sabrina's a little bit, she's a witch. She's a little mischievous. And now Sabrina has the little button nose, I like to call it, whereas Betty and Veronica have the more triangular little nose, you'll notice. So in the Archie universe, the girls have there's two kinds of noses. There's the little triangle nose, and then there's a little button nose. Sabrina has the button nose. And then here, we just kind of map in the mouth, like that. And I add in the lips. And Sabrina has freckles. So we will add a few freckles here, kind of like Archie. She's got a few scattered around on her cheeks and her nose. Okay, so we've got kind of like the face going there. And now we're going to kind of just do the contour of the face a little bit. And then here's where her ears would go. So we'll put an ear there, little earring. And classic Sabrina has the sort of like the poofy hair kind of. So she has sort of like bangs and a headband, which I don't know if there's any science or art to it. You just sort of feel it out and put it where you think it fits. And like the older Sabrina has sort of like the bouffant hair, the poofy hair. So I'll be doing kind of a modification of that. So it's sort of the old 60s bouffant, just a little more modified. If you look back at some of the old Sabrina stuff, she had like the big round white bouffant. So, and we'll just lay out the shoulders a little bit here like that. Okay. So you can see we've got a fairly tight pencil sketch here. So what I do is then I go in with a thin marker, a Pitt pen. This is the fine nib, which gives me like a thin line. I just sort of go in and give sort of like a nice thin line, holding line, right like that. And Sabrina has like kind of like a nice pointy little eyelash. Leave her eyes open. A lot of times the Archie characters, we close them up, but fill them in with black, but Sabrina generally has blue eyes, so I'll color those blue when we get there. Do the freckles, thin little line for the freckles. Go. Okay, and again, we will do the shape of the face, like this. So we can see she's coming together here. Okay. So now that I have my thin lines done, I will go in with my brush nib pen, Pit pen that you get at any art supply store. So then I can sort of go in and do my brush lines. I leave the thin lines, some thin lines for contrast, and add some brush lines. So you can see I can go in and do that. Fill in her eyelashes. Little shadows here and there. Which I leave some lines thin. Like I leave the lines on her lips and her nose thin because it gives a little contrast. And the thick lines are nice for like the holding lines on the outside. You probably noticed in the comic books, the outer lines are usually the thickest. There we go. All right. So we have our black and white line art done. So before we go to color, of course, we have to erase the pencil lines. Because we don't want pencil lines showing through the marker when we color it in markers. Okay, so now that the black and white is there and the pencil lines are erased, we can go in with our Copic markers. So this is the flesh. I will go in and color her in with the flesh tone. Copic markers are my marker of choice because they're really nice to blend, and they're refillable, so that makes them economical in the long run because you can fill them. Looks like I'm running a little low on marker on this one, so I switch nibs. We'll do red for her lips. I leave a little white mark on her bottom lip there. You see that right there? That just indicates that she's got a little bit of a shine on her lips, a little reflection. We'll go in with the blue for her eyes. I think I'll make her dress blue, so I just go in and just do a little wispy lines because, just to show that she's got a little bit of color, but I can't get into drawing too much of the dress, so I just sort of indicate it with a little splash of color there. And then I have to figure out what to do with her headband. I think I'm gonna make her earring blue to match her eyes in her dress. I think I'll go in and make her headband black. I always like the contrast with the black headband and the real, like the platinum blonde hair. just going with like a dark blue to sort of add a little contrast to that. Okay. So her hair is like, you know, like platinum blonde, but I always give it a little bit of like a blue highlight just to give it a little shimmer. Make it stand out a little bit. They used to do that in the old comics. Give it a little bit of a blue highlight. Sometimes they do it with a yellow highlight too. But... And let's see, I think we're gonna give her a little, we're gonna like just give her a little shadowing on her skin. So this is sort of like a tan flesh tone. So I'll color her freckles with it. You know, just put a little bit of a shadow. And a little bit of like a side shadow on her neck. Just a little bit, just to give it a little touch. Then I can even go in and I can even blend it, blend in the shadow. See, it kind of just gives it a little bit of a little dimension to her skin, and the shadow just adds a little bit of a dimension to her. And then sometimes I'll just add a little splash of color behind it to give it some contrast. We'll just go in and, you know, just add a little burst of color. This is just like a light lavender color. Just makes her hair pop out a little more because there's a lot of white on this page. And then, let's see. I think I'll even add a little bit of give her a little bit of eyeshadow. Because why not? Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. Here we go. And there we have it, a sketch of Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. So thanks for watching, and follow me. I will be drawing more Archie characters on future videos.